Do lyrics matter? Dumb question, so let me ask it in a different way. How much do lyrics matter? Theoretically, hip-hop is a genre that strives off its lyrical content, more than any other genre does, to be honest. To many people, you need good lyricism to be a good rapper, but one could argue that hip-hop hasn't really been focused on lyrics for years now. With the rise of trap music, we see a lot more artists way more focused on other aspects of hip-hop. Flows, productions, delivery. Not necessarily saying none of these artists can make good lyricism. Trippie Redd, for example, is an artist who's mostly known for his rage trap blend style of music. He's also an artist that a lot of old heads don't really like because of this. Yet he's dropped 2 songs where its whole purpose was to show how good of a lyricist he can be. It's just not the music he wants to make. So does that mean these artists' lyrics suck in their usual music? Does hip-hop as a genre build off lyricism no longer relies on it? Well, that's the topic we're going to discuss today.
Hey Peggy, let me talk to him one time, hold up.
This video kind of spawned off the release of Jack Boys 2 and Let God Sort 'Em Out, because there was a whole debate on not only which album was better, but also if lyrics should matter in the topic of hip-hop anymore. I think XQC literally said rappers who makes lyrical content should just go write a book.
Ask the rappers to write books and read their books, read their tweets, read their thoughts.
That should tell you where that conversation has lied in. But that whole conversation did get me to think about whether or not lyrics do matter nowadays in the world of hip-hop. And I come to the conclusion that lyrics should matter no matter what subgenre you're in, and can help with creating the rapper's identity. Let's take one of the most iconic lyricists of all time, Nas. What does his lyrics bring out of you? Maybe you can get excited about a specific rhyme, or maybe a bar that made you think more about a subject. If I Rule the World is one of my favorite hip-hop songs of all time, and I believe that's because of how the subject matter is discussed. Nas talks with a lot of clarity, his lines stick in your head. Every rhyme he makes sense while also creating an image in your head imagining what exactly he's talking about. Even after saying all that, I argue you don't have to dissect the song to truly enjoy it, but when you look deeper into the painting, you notice the little details that make you appreciate the painting oh so more. On the contrast, R.I.P. for Playboi Carti. A lot of people would say that Die Lit has very simple lyrics. That's the end of the sentence. But here, the lyrics serve a much different purpose. With I Rule the World, the song's appeal is its lyrical content. Down to its core, people are listening to the song to hear Nas speak about certain topics. But with R.I.P., it's trying to establish a careless vibe to it all. A song that you can just put on anytime and go crazy with. But Carti isn't just saying whatever, you can tell it's very calculated. Like how the chorus is him repeating certain phrases while slightly tweaking it all. Every time he's repeating a similar phrase, he's always changing one thing or flipping a certain thing or even just saying it the same. It's that repetitiveness that sticks in your head. Where this could be a weak spot for more lyrical rappers, this is a strong part of Carti's music and what makes him stand out. I argue just like Carti's iconic flows and voices, he wouldn't be nearly as interesting without his lyricism. Yes, it's very simple lyricism. Yes, it's not the deepest thing in the world, but there's still complexity behind it, it's just in a different manner. Not saying Carti's music is as complex or as innovative as Nas, but I also feel like it's just as important to his music and helps define his style. Another example of this is Young Thug. A lot of people would say Young Thug is not a good lyricist, and his lyrics don't really matter in his music. But I call baloney on that because Jeffrey is an album. I think a massive appeal of Thug's music is his lyrics, or more so, how wild and goofy his lyricism is. Hell, I would say that Carti is someone who's clearly massively influenced by Thug's lyrics. Jeffrey would not be as legendary of a mixtape if it wasn't for Young Thug's goofy lyricism. Look at the hook of Kanye West and tell me any of your favorites can make a banger like that. Hell, I argue without Thug's weird and wacky lyricism, Jeffrey wouldn't be as iconic as an album if it wasn't for that. Yes, it's not the main thing he's known for, but he wouldn't be as iconic if it wasn't for that. I usually see this argument with any sort of trap album that comes out that isn't really that good. With people saying, oh, the lyrics don't matter, it's not supposed to be that deep. But when people say that, I feel like it undermines the amount of rappers who do put a good emphasis on their lyrics in the genre. Some of the best trap records from the late 2010s have lines that you can quote all day. Lyrics are just as important to make good trap music as it is for any other genre, just in different ways. This doesn't automatically mean an artist would be better or worse if they were a lyrical rapper though. Just because trap doesn't have as much of a focus on lyrics as every other genre does, doesn't automatically mean the rapper is less or more than a lyrical rapper. Jordan Lucas is a very lyrical rapper, yet he's dropped a lot of really bad albums. Do we have any Jordan Lucas fans in the chat? If so, I'm so sorry. It is just as easy to make really bad lyrical rap. I think with lyrical rap, bad lyrics stands out way more. I'm more inclined to say Jordan Lucas is a bad lyricist than I am for calling Netsven a bad lyricist, because one is way more known for their lyrics, while the other... What is Netsven known for? That's a genuine question. I also think it's okay for good lyricists to just kind of take a step back and have fun with their albums, not really focusing too much on the lyrics. GNX has kind of grown a stigma nowadays for being extremely simple for a Kendrick Lamar album, especially compared to the therapy session that was Mr. Morale, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. After Not Like Us, I think it's smart to build off that song and make a bunch of West Coast bangers. And it doesn't change the fact that the lyrics on the album are still really good. They're way more braggadocious than the usual Kendrick Lamar affair, and I think that's a good thing. After last album kind of delving into really heavy topics, it was kind of interesting to see Kendrick kind of embrace his status in hip-hop. And hey, if you wanted those more conceptual and thought-provoking songs from his previous work, you had The Heart Part 6 and Reincarnated to thank. But the lyrics here, while simple, are still at top game. Another album I feel this way about is King Mischievous of the South Volume 2, where after making one of the most beautiful records of the decade, he made bangers after bangers after bangers. You see, now that I think about it, I think making a more laid-back album kind of shows how good of a lyricist you can be. Lyrics don't always gotta mean the deepest topic. Sometimes the best place for lyrics to shine can be these laid back, more chill records. Like, you can't look at me and tell me a line like,
Money talking to me like, hey Alexa.
Isn't hard, it takes a lot of talent to think of. But I want to get into the topic that I made this video for. The whole debate between Clipse and Travis, and how a lot of people are saying Travis doesn't need great lyricism to be a great artist. Now, I like the Clipse album. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic even. And I think the lyrics are a massive strength from the Clipse album. This is also an album that can fall in line with the it doesn't have to be the deepest thing in the world, it can just be hard category. And out of the 3 albums I mentioned, I think it's the best at it. Whether it's songs like Mike Tyson Blow to the Face, or So Be It, or Ace Trumpets, or FICO, the lyrics are always top notch and easily the best part of this album. Even the features were at top notch, like Nas on Let God Storm Out in Chandeliers, Kendrick on Chains and Whips with the incredible alliteration he had, or Tyler on POV, which, speaking of which, Malice had a fantastic verse on. Malice in general might be my rapper of the year by the end of the decade just because how great of a run he's had, but that's a whole nother conversation. I don't need to tell you how good of an album this is because pretty much everyone has done that. Just like how everyone has said how mid Jack Boys 2 has been, including me. But a lot of the people who defend this record say that the lyrics don't gotta be that deep. It's a Jack Boys record at the end of the day. But to me, I think it matters a lot less that the lyrics aren't that deep, and more so how they enhance the song. Because yes, I get it that it's a Jack Boys album at the end of the day, and we don't expect his best work in this album. But I also don't think it's exclusive for being so bland, but that's a whole nother conversation that we're not having right now. What I am going to talk about is the lyrics criticism and how I think it's very shallow. Like, are we not going to just acknowledge the fact that one of the most hyped up songs from Utopia was My Eyes? With a verse so packed with substance that it was really beautiful because of it. Or how 91210 is one of the most gorgeous tracks from Travis because of the content that it has. Yes, I'm aware the main appeal of his music is the vibes that he put on every album, but a big part of that is his lyrics. And since we're on this topic, I want to say something that I've been wanting to say for years. Utopia has really good writing, and I will go as far as saying that it has some of Travis' best writing. Yeah, it noticeably has a lot less emotional content than his previous 3 records, but I think it more than makes up for that for just how witty Travis is on this album. You can call it him showing his Kanye influence. I call it him bringing back his rodeo era attitude. Like I said earlier, to me, a good lyricist doesn't necessarily have to be the deepest thing imaginable. Sometimes showing how well you can come up with a funny line can make up for a lack of substance. That's why I still believe Utopia is very strong, while Jack Boys 2 is still very bland. There's no songs as humorous or fun as Modern Jam, no songs that make me emotional like Till Further Notice, no songs that get infectiously stuck in your head like Fiend until you eventually don't want to hear it anymore. Jack Boys 2 does not have a single memorable line in the album outside of, well... So what am I trying to say with this video? Do we dissect every single rapper's lyrics? Does it really have to be that deep of a topic? Well, no, of course not. What I'm trying to say is rappers' lyrics matter no matter what subgenre you're in. I don't think every rap lyric needs to be the deepest thing, but I also feel like rap lyrics should show the identity of an artist. So do rap lyrics truly matter at the end of the day? Yeah, I believe so. They create identity and help any rap artist stand out. A good rapper's lyrics, you can tell who it is strictly from looking at their lyric. It can not only show personality, but also help a song's catchiness and replayability, and ultimately should be valued. And with the comeback of lyrical rap in the big 2025, I believe it's still important to value this kind of rap, as just because trap is trap does not mean the lyrics can't be good. Anyways, subscribe or something, I don't know.